Hi, everyone. Happy Wednesday. Okay, so we've had some really good news this last week. It looks like we can actually have some sense of normalcy. We're taking off our masks. We're thinking about going back to the gym. We have so many things. I mean, people are definitely feeling the urge to just soar and be like, I want normal. But one thing we realize is that COVID has changed some things, maybe forever. We also realize that more than ever, we have to take our health and our fitness and our wellness. It's critical. Health is wealth. Before, I felt like it was just a saying that people would say, and now it's like, dang, I am grounding into that. We are just, we've been talking about this on Conversations with Our People. We've been talking about how to have really strong immune systems, how to strengthen our bodies inside and out. So we're here and we're in it. And, I see a lot of people, some people are just ready to jump right back into normal, and others are sort of going, okay, what is this really going to mean? So my returning guest, Devon Levesque, who I just totally adore, he came on, I think it was our second Conversations with Our People, because at that time we were all desperate. We were panicked. I mean, the gyms were closed and everybody was trying to figure out, oh my God, how am I going to adapt? How am I going to get fit? I mean, Amazon was completely sold out of all fitness equipment within 2 weeks. So who better than to bring on at this time to really understand how we're going to actually move into this space. We're calling this the new hybrid of fitness. And that's because over the last year, many of us have created some new ways of working out using technology, working out at home that's actually benefited us hugely. I know for myself, and I'll share that with you in this segment with Devon. Even though I want to go back, I want to go back to my beloved dance class. I want to go back to my hot yoga. I definitely want to go back to my community. And also, I have found many things about working out at home really efficient and really effective. So let's bring on Devon. Hi, Dev.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me again. Good seeing you again.
Always. But before, we always do this little ritual, but to do the breath. But before we do that, I just want you to share with our community about this last trip that you were on, because we were supposed to connect last Wednesday, and then you were like, hey, Levin, I'm doing something really rad, and I don't even think I'm going to have connection. So I want to hear some of this for the first time with everyone else, because everything you do always gets my heart pumping really fast.
I mean, it was definitely nerve wracking. I kind of threw myself into the wolves on that, but I'm training for a new challenge that I'm going to announce in a couple of weeks. But I ended up going out to Washington State, out to Mount Rainier National Park, and summiting. I ended up summiting the entire mountain, and I went in completely uncertain of what was going to happen. It was the first time I ever even bought the gear, wore the boots, anything. I didn't go up with a guide or anything. It was actually my next door neighbor I grew up with. And I told him about the challenge I'm training for. And he's like, we should try one of these mountains. And I was like, what's the hardest one I can try? And he's like, Mount Rainier. He's like, it's like they call it the Everest
expert mountain.
Yeah. And so I was like, all right, let's try it. And for those listening, it's Everest is a part of the challenge, but it's not the only part of the challenge. So anyways, we ended up going up, and it's crazy because you get to, Camp Mare, which is the first like the only camp on the mountain. It's about 10,000 feet up before you go and summit. And just even getting up to that point, my whoop strain was at like 20.1, just like that day, which out of 21, which is crazy because my bear crawl marathon was 20.5. And so I have like these skis on either side. It's actually a split board, and you just like kind of go up, but like you're at like 30-40% incline, and you're just going nonstop. I ended up burning about 6,000 calories that day. And it was one of the hardest things I'd like ever done. And then get to Camp Mare, you sleep out. It's like 10 degrees, 5 degrees, maybe. You're like all bundled up in a sleeping bag. Again, first time ever doing any of this. So I'm just like learning as I go along. And then we woke up at about 4 a.m. and ended up summiting. But the hardest part is one, your endurance training. Mentally just understanding like, it's okay, I'm going to make it. You have to like push through it. There was probably about 7 points throughout the entire thing where I had to like really deep dive into my head. And I was like, Deb, you got this. Like, you cannot turn around. Like, you've already made it this far. You have to go. And like, there was some serious debating going on in here. And, I ended up finishing. I had major blisters on my feet. I ended up taking a nap at the top. I told my 2 buddies, I'm like, guys, I got to take like a 10-minute nap. And I actually immediately went into like REM sleep. Like I was knocked out cold for like 10 minutes. And, you're at 14,000 feet, and took a great nap, and ended up went back down to Camp Mare, and actually snowboarded down from Camp Mare down to the bottom with like 65 pounds on my back. But yeah, it was a lot. I mean, most of the people on the mountain, I mean, everyone on the mountain, they've done this stuff before. And I was talking to a couple of guys, and they were like, oh, like what other mountains have you climbed? I'm like, none. And they're like, dude, people train their like lives to do this stuff. Like you can't just throw it. And, I did. But I mean, I think that's goes with life in general. You're not certain of like everything that's going to happen, but I'd rather just throw myself out there and, not regret it, and just do it and just get after it, in the most safe, strategic way possible. But, that's kind of my whole philosophy. Let's just get it done. Let's just go do it.
I feel like there needs to be a disclaimer that says anybody listening to this, do not follow Devon. Even though I am so, incredibly inspired by.
I know my limits. And like, I tell people that, like I think injuries and like all that, like it comes from people just like not knowing what their body's capable of. And I've done so many different things, whether I've played college sports or, bear crawled a marathon, or, done all these things, crazy, like acrobatical things. I did gymnastics as a kid. So like, I'm so comfortable like with my body. I know like what I'm capable of and what I'm not. People just need to understand their body and like not throw themselves in like positions that they, could potentially get hurt and set them back, but.
So true. Well, I mean, and the fact that you were able to train the way you trained during this whole pandemic. And I mean, I followed all the stuff you were doing, and I mean, you're one of a kind.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Joy to watch it. So, okay, we're going to do a couple of deep breaths just to get grounded with our community and get everybody set to really connect. All right. So 4 breaths in, hold our breath for 4, exhale through the nose for 4. Let's go. Inhale, love. Hold your breath. Exhale, pleasure. Inhale, love. Hold your breath, smile. Exhale. Last big, deep, love-filled, joy-filled, health-filled breath. Exhale.
So good. When
So
you brought breath work to me, I don't know, maybe a couple of years ago, with like Dr. Levry and like the whole shebang, I was definitely like, does this stuff work? I use it every single day. Like anytime I'm feeling anxiety, anytime, even like my warm-ups for working out, like I'm in the sauna, I always do the 3-point breath. Inhale for 10, hold it for 10, exhale for 10. And sometimes I go more like 15, 15, 15 or 20, 20, 20, but it just like, it helps you just like ground yourself and like kind of forget everything that's going on in the world and just focus on literally the breath that's going in and just like taking over your whole body. It's just like an overwhelming positive feeling. I love it.
well, you get when you really understand the depths of breath work, you really understand that the mind follows the breath. So,
Sure.
so often, all we have to do is get our breath under control, deep breathing. The majority of people throughout the day, they're in a very shallow breathing. And then their mind has a tendency to, create some fear. But when you ground down that breath, it's like everything, your mind will follow, and it really is amazing. And okay, so we're going to
Yeah.
talk a little bit about our hybrid, this
Yeah.
hybrid of where we're going, because people are getting out. And what I'm seeing is people are really uncertain on how to navigate this. And one of the things, like myself, I've realized over this little over a year and a few months, my fitness level has actually been the best that it's been in probably 10 years. And I think it has to do with a lot of different things. And one of them is that I never really embraced technology in fitness. So I wanted to take a yoga class at the end of the day, but I didn't really have enough time to drive into town and go take it, or it wasn't a teacher that I liked. It would be like, oh, I'm not going to do that. And now I like downloaded all these great yoga instructors. So I'm getting my morning workout in. We expanded our home gym a bit. And so I'm training in the morning. Obviously we're not running around to meetings. I'm even taking my meetings. Many of them are on my phone, and I'm walking in my community.
Right.
Not be sitting inside the house all the day. And what I've kind of noticed is that my day has gotten much more physical.
Yeah. You're developing new norms.
Yeah. So, and because I purposely didn't want it to just be more sitting in front of a computer, to be able to say to someone, hey, like, we'll take this meeting and I'll be on FaceTime and I'm going to be out walking. Where I don't even know, maybe that wouldn't have been really acceptable to be like professional enough in the last, like, to do that 2 years ago, where today it's like, oh yeah, that sounds amazing. Like, there is like things that are going to change. And I think that's one of them, is that people aren't going to be like, oh, she's not serious, she's out walking while she's talking to me. So I've noticed that, then I have my bicycle, and anybody who's on Instagram with me knows that I love to mountain bike. And I used to just mountain bike 1 to 2 days a week, but during this pandemic, I was actually getting out on my mountain bike, 4 days a week. That was my cardio. And so for somebody like me, I'm like in the best shape that I've been in so many years, because of the just how efficient I can be.
Yeah. And I think it kind of goes to show as well, just like it helped catalyze the at-home space, the at-home gym space. It kind of, it catalyzed in. And for a lot of other things as well, you're not, and I think we talked about this before, like way back when we first did this, you're not having to get as dolled up for work anymore. You're not having to travel into work. You're getting or even coming home or whatnot, you're getting so much time back during the day to like focus on yourself. And then, so how are you focusing on yourself You're not doing it at the gym, you're doing it at your house. So have you developed a new meditation spot? Have you, maybe purchased, a new at-home equipment that is like your go-to, and that's how your new norm is. And, they say it takes around 60 days to develop a new norm. Well, we've been in this COVID for much longer than 60 days, And so people have literally just developed new norms that are happy with it. You know what I mean? Even myself, granted, last year I was training for, the Bear Crawl Marathon most of the time, but I had my own norms at home where I didn't feel forced to have to go in the gym and train. I was like, I'm going to use my sources, like the field that's a couple blocks away from my house. I'm going to go there and kind of develop these body weight workouts. You go online and Rogue, assault bikes, everything's just like sold out across the board. So it's like, God, now I have to get creative. So then it forces people to say, how am I going to get creative? Not everyone's a creative person. Some people are great at finance, but they're not creative. Some people are really amazing at business, but they're not creative. So they go on and look for these creators online and these creative, workout people. And they have now find their new norms, and they're like, oh, wow, I want to follow this person. They have these really cool workouts. So now that's their new norm. They go online, they find, who, like, some different types of workouts. And then they start doing them, with what they have, whether it's in their living room or at a local field or whatever. And I think people are coming to realize is like, I'm in just as good shape as I was. You know what I mean? I feel better. My mental space is clear. I don't feel stressed to go and like get all dolled up for the gym. And I keep using dolled up, that's just my term, but dolled up for the gym, that's a thing. People want their athleisure clothes at the gym. They want to look good. The amount of times that I've worked out in just my underwear in the past year is incredible, because I can. Why not? No one's looking.
No, my friends, I have so many friends that tell me they get out of bed and they literally are working out. They're on their, bicycle in their, garage in their pajamas before their kids get up to get there. And we laugh about it. It's like, because they're like, I would have never been able to get a workout in before this pandemic. Like,
right. And then they're rushing back to the house, like pre-pandemic, they're rushing back to the house, trying to get ready for the kids. I don't have kids, but I imagine what can go through a parent's head. You're trying to get in shape, but like, you're trying to find that time to also balance with your kids. So you're rushing to the gym, trying to work out, you're rushing back to bring them. Now you're not really rushing. You have that time back. Oh, I'm just going to walk back in my house or, wherever to get the kids ready. And so, even my buddies and friends that have had kids over the pandemic, they're like, we would have never, ever had this much time as we have now to spend time with the kids and watch them grow. So, I think there's a lot of positive that's come out of it. And it also makes room for some of these new and even older emerging companies to tap into this space and like give them a chance, and, as it catalyzes the home gym space, it's really bringing the future of fitness to the top and saying, guys, this can be your life. You don't have to be tied to a gym to get in shape. You can really go anywhere and you can get really creative with it.
Well, I always think that like the more autonomy you have in your life, the more peace you have. Because when you aren't always relying on something outside of you and things that are out of your control, and let's face it, like we've had a year where everything was kind of out of our control. Like we were being controlled in ways that we've never, ever thought, at least in America, that we would ever be controlled in the ways that we were controlled. So, I think that created some anxiety for people, so the thing that I think that we realize, that's like the light bulb went off is, what? I am not going to be in this position again, because, a lot of people are saying that, there will be another virus. There will be a crazy bacteria breakouts. We're seeing all of this happening, unfortunately. And I am going to be so prepared. Like I am going to take control of my health, regardless if the government shuts everything down. I will still be able to be healthy and strong.
I think it's really cool to like see like humans on the internet and how passionate and excited they get. Just like when you buy your first house and you're like, this is mine. I can do whatever I want with it now. I can put my windows in. I can do this, my lawn, my whatever it is. It's the same thing with their little at-home gym. Little, big, if they made a spare bedroom, even if they have a little corner, people are proud of it. They're sharing it. They're excited about it because it's theirs. And like, it's just like what we did. We just got grounded and we did breath work, and like, we have control of that. They have control of that space and it's theirs and they built it. And I don't think people are going to throw it away. I think people are going to have that hybrid. And like, you associate gym with like, okay, I have to go to the gym to get healthy, but I think it's opening people's brain. Like, maybe I don't, maybe I could only have to go once or twice a week. I don't have to go every single day. Obviously people are going to miss that community aspect, but hey, now the pandemic's opening up. I'm calling my neighbor. Hey, come on over. Let's get a workout in. You know what I mean? So I think there's still that community, aspect to it. It's just depending on how much you want to be a part of that community. And I think people have found communities online. Peloton does an amazing job at building a community that you feel part of, and that is all digital. Whoop does a great job at building a community and being able to compete. Arena, great community. People are able to compete. Strength training, right? Like, you're building these communities digitally, and then you can still have these experientials like in person. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think also for people, like, it used to be if I didn't have an hour, like we have these I see for myself sometimes, if I only have 20 minutes, I run into the gym, I'll do 20 minutes, get onto a Zoom, fix my hair a little bit, get on a Zoom call, go about my day, and then I'll go back into the gym for another 20 minutes or a half hour. And honestly, I feel like that has been better on my body, actually, to work out a few times a day. It keeps my metabolism up.
Keep moving.
Yeah, because I just keep moving. So whereas before it was like, you felt like if you didn't have, a big enough time, then I'm not going to even get it done. I'm not going to do it. And now we just realize we can take control of that. We can actually do it. Like, some days I'll run inside and do, just cardio, and then go back and do, a leg routine or something.
Right.
So it's really been,
I've done the same thing with stretching. I've growing up playing sports my whole life, playing in college, and I've always kind of, I'll stretch when I go to the gym, or I'll stretch when I get to practice. But what I've developed is I wake up and I kind of do a stretch, and then midday, I have an extra 30 minutes. Let me, get a little stretch in, do some leg swings on the wall, or, a little hamstring stuff. Then at night, and I literally have like 3 stretches throughout the day. And I mean, I don't have any injuries. I feel great. I feel more flexible than ever. Like, I just feel so good. And to your point of the metabolism, I mean, it's definitely one of the biggest questions I get is, well, how do I get in shape? How do I lose this weight? How do I do this? Like, do I only go in, a 30-minute workout? There's not one professional athlete in the world that I know that goes in the gym for 30 minutes and works out. These people are doing it all day. I mean, you can't expect to have a professional athlete's body if you're only going in the gym for an hour. You have to implement wellness into your entire life. That means stretching throughout the day. That means recovering throughout the day. That means training throughout the day. And so you're going to have to develop these new norms, which I think a lot of people have now. So if you're going to look at the average span that people spend at the gym, maybe they go in for 30 minutes pre-pandemic, people are now focusing an hour plus on their health throughout the day.
Yeah.
Well,
I even see, like, I saw a girlfriend of mine yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, you look amazing. She took up 15 pounds. And she said, Lavinia, I used to never drink water. She goes, I was just so busy running from meeting to meeting. And, I drink a little bit of water. She said, during this pandemic, I started drinking, 100
a ton of water, right?
Yeah. And it was really interesting. I not too long ago, I heard this man talk about water, and he said, think about the rainforest. All of the trees in the rainforest, they're long and lean, and it's because they're constantly getting water. But if you think about a desert, even the cactus are like short and fat. He said, because
Oh,
they
that's
don't get enough
interesting.
water. And, like just all that was, she said,
Yeah.
that's all like really changed
Yeah.
was drinking water. Cause I just had the big thing in here. And I'm thinking like, wow, for her, that was huge. She lost 15 pounds, just like, and it was really just because I realized my body was not hydrating at all. And we don't need to talk
Yeah.
about all the things that happen
No,
when the
yeah.
body isn't being hydrated correctly. So, I mean, we just have had so many things that have percolated. And the other thing that I think is so amazing is, I always say to people, like, being fit is amazing because you can have more fun.
Yes.
Like, I was never the person that, really cared about being fit for my little black bikini. Like,
Yeah.
okay, that's a perk. That's great
It's
if
cool, but
you look cute in your bikini. But what I loved about being fit was like everything I could do. Even if it was like going out dancing at night, like
yeah.
I would jump on that dance floor, at 9:00, and I'd still be going, like sweating at 1:00 in the morning. Like that.
I literally put a post up like 2 weeks ago saying that. And I was just like, everyone wants to know my why. It's just so I can do whatever I want. I don't feel held back by anything. Like if I want to go climb a mountain, I'm going to do it. If I want to go barefoot marathon, I'm going to do it. I just can do literally whatever I want because I feel healthy. I am healthy. I'm much more happy. I have so much energy. Like there's so many benefits to being healthy. It's like, it actually blows my mind, the people that don't understand it. But that's also kind of cool because then it then leads me to want to convince them why. Well, these are all the tons of reasons. Like if you are healthy, these are the benefits. You know what I mean? These are the benefits of being unhealthy and like what you're limited to. These are the benefits of being healthy. Like you can do so much more.
So much more. And that's the thing that really gets really expansive for people, because let's face it, movement is life. One thing we know, if you're dead, you will not move. Like you're dead,
So.
you're not moving. So when you can just connect to movement being life and life being movement and having that connection and be able to have fun with it and play with it and play with the earth and play with like water and really being able to enjoy it all. I mean, it really becomes life becomes so much joy filled. You feel really good when you can, instead of go out to eat. I mean, I think, I don't live too far from the beach, and I ride my bike up to the beach often, and it's just so great to see people. And I like to do a ride at the end of the day, and you see all these families and couples and friends coming, and they bring their food and they all go down to the beach together and watch the sunset at 6:00. Before COVID, you never saw that. I would ride that. I'd ride, and the beach would be empty at that time. So it's just so nice to see people out and they're walking and they're with the Frisbee and they're out there with the little, Kadim, whatever that game is, they're playing. Like, it's so fun. It's really nice to see that people are moving more.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of like it, when it's raining out, people are kind of like miserable, but once it's sunny out, everyone's like super happy. And I feel like that's a good analogy for like, people that are inside, it's kind of like rainy, you're kind of like cooped up, but like when you're outside, everyone's like stoked. You know what I mean? Everyone's just
but I
happy
gotta just say something. You're super happy when it's sunny and it's bright and you actually fit in your summer clothes.
Yeah.
But for people who literally, and I have to tell you, I actually even started a fitness Zoom group only because so many of my friends were like texting me, oh my God, Lavinia, I went to put on my summer clothes and nothing fits.
Oh, geez.
So I'm like, all right, let's get you guys, we're going to do a 6-week, we're going to do this program. I'm going to lead it just because that's when it can be like not so fun.
Yeah.
If you are not in good shape, I mean,
And you recently, and sorry, I'm going to bring this up, but you recently just did a annual checkup, right?
Yeah, I did. I actually did an annual checkup, and my body fat went down a decent amount percent. I'm about 10 pounds lighter. My muscles are up. I just really, again,
and that's all like at home training and stuff, which I think is cool.
It's at home training, and it's also, I think, less inflammation in my body, because I've been doing it like that. Whereas before, when I went to the gym, it was like, all right, I had to drive to get there the 20 minutes. I'm here. I'm going to kill myself for this hour that I'm here, or hour and 15 minutes. And then inevitably the next day, my knees would hurt or my shoulder would hurt. Not that I'd miss my workout, but I wasn't able to get it as great. So this way, I feel like I've been like a steady Eddie, like getting in, like, because I always say, I really believe you need to have, like, for me, it's a half-hour cardio, a half-hour weight training, and a half hour of flexibility. And, for the first time, I was actually able to get all of that in, maybe throughout, the course of the day.
Right.
And that really, I had better recovery. My recovery was so much better. Also, I was able to, change my diet a little bit, probably because I realized I'm a social eater. I am all like, I'm not at my best when I'm going out to eat with my friends, even though I make healthy choices.
Food is supposed to bring people together, though. Like,
exactly.
I'm not a diet guy. Like, I've literally never dieted in my entire life. I've told you this. I've just grown up in like a healthy household, and I think like food is a celebration. If you look at any community around the world, everyone's, even when I was in Italy 2 years ago, they're coming back to their homes and they're all eating, and it's a celebration, breakfast, lunch, dinner, like they're doing it. Even when I was in Mexico for all of January, they're all coming back. Food's a celebration. I think this is one of the only countries, to be honest, and I'm not like political or anything, but that is just like fast. I need the fast food. I need to go. Like, screw that. I would rather have, my family over, my friends over. Let's cook out, like, middle of the day, make time for it. Like, food is a celebration. And I'm the same way with you. Like, I love it.
Yeah, but I think, when I was, just here, my husband and we were cooking at home, we were eating just green soups and salads and grilled vegetables. And, so there wasn't as much, like the kind of food that kind of put a little weight on you.
Yeah.
And not that I've obsessed, because I've never been that person about obsessing about weight or anything, especially in the last 15 years. But still, eating so clean, just because we weren't being social, it made a difference. It for sure made a difference.
I love that.
And again, don't get me wrong, I can't wait to go out and and have a good, sushi meal again.
No, yeah, I personally like the new balance and like having much more control and that. And it's also like, I just feel like there's a lot of meetings and whatnot that a lot of us get pulled into, for work, that we're like, oh, and like we all go to those meetings pre-pandemic and we're like, that meeting was so pointless. We probably could have done that on the phone, And those meetings are like, see you later. They're no longer. And so there's just so much more time that people are getting back into their day to then take control and like do what they want. And that, I think a lot of people are, I know a lot of people are leaning that towards increasing their health and whatnot. And I think there's some ways that, I have some tips, and I think you have some tips on how people can do that.
So let's segue into like tips for how people can really, not everybody has created these new, patterns.
Right.
And some people want to turn them up a little.
Yeah. I think one of the big ones that I've always been a fan of, take your shoes off, some barefoot training. I think barefoot training and just having that in your norm. I think a lot of people are doing it anyways because they're at their house now. But now working out without shoes on, it's going to just help develop your feet. It's going to help develop all those muscles that usually have a cushion, right, in between them. And so your foot isn't able to develop that much because there's a big cushion. But now take it away, and now all your muscles, tendons, like everything's working much more. So I think that's a big tip. And people are probably saying that barefoot training is one of the best things you can do, especially people that wear heels. And, females that wear heels, guys, anyone that wears heels, really good for ankle support. So barefoot training is awesome. EMOMs I've found. So if anyone that doesn't know, an EMOM is every minute on the minute. I have found them to be super beneficial, especially if you don't have a coach or if you don't have someone like pushing you. Well, everyone has a timer. So put your timer on and you try to complete a couple exercises in that minute. And, what I usually do, like a simple EMOM is like 5 push-ups, 5 squats, and, maybe 3 burpees or whatever. And you'll probably get that done within 40-second span, 30-second span. And the remainder you have to rest, right? And then you start that again the next minute. And so I'll do like a 10-minute EMOM. And before you know it, the 10 minutes is over. You kind of had a coach, which is the timer, pushing you along the way. And in that 10 minutes, you're probably sweating. You know what I mean? And so I really like EMOMs. Have you tried them before?
No, and I do a timer because I will tend to take like 4 exercises and do 30 seconds for each one, but I have never done it like that. So so you basically take enough exercises that you're like pushing it for 45 seconds.
Or like 30 or 40, 30 to 45. Like you still want your body to rest. And so I would be a nut job and I would just be like, all right, I'm doing 10 burpees, 10 push-ups, 10 squats. Not everyone has to do that. You could do like 2 burpees or 2 squats and 2 push-ups. And maybe that for you takes you 30 seconds. And that's getting your heart rate up around 140, 150. And then you're resting the 30 seconds and then you're going back into it. Same thing. And you do that for like 10 minutes. And what I've seen that works just well, just to keep me focused, is like putting EMOMs back to back. So like I'll have a 10-minute EMOM that's just legs. I'll have a 10-minute EMOM that's arms. I'll have a 10-minute EMOM that's, full body or whatever. And that's an awesome 30-minute body weight workout that like kept you driving the whole time. And really the only thing you're competing against is time.
You know what I would love to do?
Mm-hmm.
If you would be willing to be generous for our communities.
For sure.
Why don't you do 3 of those EMOMs and then we can put it on the website on laviniaerica.com and then people can download that.
And I'll do one that's good for everyone.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah,
I love
we won't
that.
do any backflips.
Oh, please. Okay, I love those EMOMs. What else do you have in that Devon toolbox?
I think another one is just like, finding what equipment works for you. I think, if you've never gotten into fitness before, obviously like do your research and whatnot, but the people, I think everyone that's watching this is probably, working out and whatnot, so you can get to that. But I think just having something at home, a cardio and a strength is really important. Now, cardio is funny because obviously we can all get our cardio running outside and whatnot. And, I probably won't run in the gym. I don't know the next time I'm going to run in a gym. It's just it's much more fun running outside, and like, you don't think about it. So having a cardio aspect and a strength aspect, and the strength aspect, it's tough because you're like, all right, do I order a big thing of dumbbells? Like, do I have to go to Rogue and like get all these weights? And then
it's not, when you live in an urban city, that's really not realistic. I mean,
it's not.
Usually have smaller spaces that they even would like to have for optimal living. Now to add a gym, so
it's tough. Yeah, it's super tough. And that's one of the reasons we came out with Arena, actually. And that's the strength solution. And it's a smart box You can get it at goarena.co. And we made it super affordable. It's definitely, in that price range, where you're not spending, $5,000 on a Peloton or, some of these other things, like a tonal or whatnot. It's much more affordable, and it's portable. It's portable, and you can go up to 200 pounds of resistance. You just pick your weight on your phone, and it connects via Bluetooth, and within seconds you can pick whatever weight and go about, and it fits in your closet. It's like the newest technology, and like I just think having a strength and a cardio in my whole life of training are like the two main ones, and obviously there's so much benefit to strength. You know what I mean? It'll help increase your bone density, right? It'll help prevent injury. It'll help get you stronger. It'll help put on muscle mass. And when I say muscle mass, it's not always a bad thing, right? People tend to think like, oh, I want to get toned and I want to get ripped. That doesn't mean losing weight. It actually means putting on muscle mass. And so like, if you're trying to develop your triceps, you don't want that laggy extra fat. The only way you're going to do that, right, is it's not by losing the weight. Then you're just going to have flabby skin. It's putting on muscle to tone your body, right? And so that's what strength training does. And so people shouldn't be afraid of strength training. They should be like, oh, wow, this is actually going to help form my body in a better way, and I'll feel better. It'll help your joints. It'll help your bone density. It'll help you be stronger, so you're not throwing your back out randomly. And so strength training is super important. So if you want to go spend 20 grand on a whole dumbbell set and like a whole thing, awesome. Or you want to, whatever your strength training is, you need strength training in your regimen, and you need cardio, whatever that is. And then mixing it up. And how I mix it up is it's usually like 30. So I do about 30% or 33% of stretching, 33% of cardio, 33% of strength training.
Yeah, it's interesting because that formula has been around forever. I remember when we opened our first club, which wasn't even Equinox, it was Westchester Health and Fitness. And I remember we had signs about that. And of course, in those days, people were like, 33% stretching? No way. Like people thought they had to like stretch for 2 minutes before their workout, stretch for like 2 minutes after their workout, and that was it. Like in those days, people were like, that was like new. That was just not.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that. Yeah,
it was really funny. Like they did not have first of all, you have to realize it was before yoga. Not before yoga came out, because obviously yoga's been around for hundreds of years, but before yoga became mainstream. And there was nothing. I remember putting on flexibility and stretch classes, and like nobody would show up. Nobody. People would not, no one would show up because they did not see the value. They didn't understand it, because in those days it was all, they just wanted to sweat. They wanted to go on the Stairmaster as fast as they could for like an hour. They were fighting. Like when I tell you the fights that would break out in the gym over the cardio equipment, they were like, everybody was running around. There's a 30-minute limit. You're supposed to be out. It was crazy, but that people were obsessed with cardio. They weren't even into understanding that for weight loss, you had to do weight training as well. You actually burned fat throughout the course of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Weight training. Whereas when you finish your cardio, boom, you're done.
Yeah, no, you definitely have to have weight training in, for sure. And like, you don't have to obviously be like a bodybuilder and, deadlifting 500 pounds and whatnot. It's just simply, eccentric training is amazing, for your body's development. And like that's another feature that's on Arena, right? It can automatically implement eccentric training, which is really cool. And like, I think weight training is going to become more and more relevant, not so much as like the Arnold Schwarzenegger days where people want to get big and buff, but it will be, I think the future will have that 33. And as much as people said, I only want cardio back in the day, you know, and no to stretching. And people are like, then, you know, went through the whole phase of Arnold, like I need to get big. And okay, I think we're at a point now where there's so much technology out there and so many options and so much education and new studies that people are realizing like the 33% stretching, cardio, and strength is the most optimal way to live a healthy life.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I remember like those bodybuilder guys, like they couldn't even turn their neck. Like they were stiff, like they couldn't touch their toes. Like, you know, that functional, just to be able to lay down.
This is what I use. If I can't touch my hands behind my back like this, then I know that I'm doing too much weight training, you know. I always use that.
Like I will take people and I'll just have them, especially the ones who think they're so healthy, like I do spinning or I go to do 2 soul cycle class back to back. I'm like, okay. And then I say, lay on the ground and get up off of the ground without your hands.
Yeah.
And it's shocking how many people can't do that.
Yeah. And there was,
not because they're stiff, because they can't negotiate their body. They're like their functionality is not there.
And there was actually, go ahead.
No, that actually is not good for the body. Like the body, the more functionality we have to be able to go down and touch our toes and do a deep squat, and you know, that's important. Like
super important. I have to send you this study. There's actually a study out there that can help determine the age of where your body's at based on you getting where you're sitting on the ground without using your hands, completely sitting, and if you're able to get up or not. And I'll send it to you because I remember it so vividly. But I would love for you. You got to post this for your community because it's a real thing. Like it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. But the thing that's the funniest is the people who think that they're so fit and they can't do that simple thing. It's like, okay, there's definitely an incongruency here.
Yeah.
Like we have to, you know, meld the two together to have that level of awareness of, you know, just having big muscles, just like that's not fit. Like there's so many different layers to it.
I agree.
You know, or like understanding that it isn't just flexibility, but like you can be flexible and still be stiff. Your body can still be stiff, and how you need to get, you know, that stiffness, like that stiffness out of the body. And some of that, yes, is food and rest and body work. And, you know, that's another thing is that I think we're starting to learn how to do our own body work. Like, I think that's going to be the next phase of where we're really going to go, is to teach people how to restore and how to get the body, how to do self-healing of body work.
Yeah. And what I've noticed for recovery, because you get, and this is really for like anyone that is kind of, you know, has kind of passed that intermediate beginner. They're starting to get more in advance, and like they're starting to actually implement health into their everyday lifestyle, and they're just doing it. And when you get to that point, you're like, it's not about me going hard in the gym or hard working out. I'm always going to do that. It's about recovery. And the biggest recovery and the best recovery, and it's the most free recovery, is sleep. And you have to get the most in-depth sleep that you possibly can get. Like, put your phone away. And one norm that I've now developed, which I never used to have this, you know, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm trying to do things. I'm, you know, trying to shake and bake and, you know, help people and do everything. And one thing that I started to do pre-COVID was just like, I was always on my phone going to bed, like constantly, like I'd be on it nonstop, answering emails, doing this, responding to people's DMs, whatever. And it was not healthy. Like it was just definitely not healthy. So I tried one day, I'm like, all right, I'm going to put it on like the main floor. I'm going to put my phone and charge it down there and not even have it by my bed. But I was still hearing like dings, like through my phone. And so it was still getting to me. And I tried that for a week. I'm like, okay, it's fine. Like, I'm not going to go touch my phone. And so now what I've done is I put it down here in my office, which is like the basement. And it's the best. I never get bad sleep. I have the best sleep. I'm not even thinking about it. I feel like it's in another country. I don't even have my phone next to me. I only have my TV in my room and that's it. And like being able to like separate yourself from your phone and from the world and from like society and just everything and focus on your sleep, you're going to recover faster. I can promise you that.
Yeah. I'm in total agreement with that because, and it isn't even just sleep. It's also your nervous system, your mental and your emotional well-being. Like we were not designed to be like plugged in 24/7. Like we actually need to have time alone. We need to take time to reflect. Like that's part of health, you know. Part of like health and well-being is emotional health, mental health, physical health, spiritual health. Like we need to have all of those elements to really be healthy. And there is no way without some reflection, like, okay, how could I, like, what really showed up today? How did I really show up? Who was I kind to? Who was kind to me? How did I processing your day, processing your emotions, processing your feelings? That actually helps you have a better sleep. Because if you had a little situation with a friend or a sister or a husband or a girlfriend, and you didn't take time to process a little bit, like, even if you had the conversation with them, but like, did I really own up to this fully? Did I really show up the best version of myself? Was I really being completely authentic? Was I still concealing some feelings? Like, processing is a big part. One of the reasons why people can't fall asleep at night is also because they haven't processed their emotions and their feelings properly through the course of the day.
You have to process. I also have a rule where like, if I ever get like an email or like, some type of confrontation that arises in a text form or anything, I don't respond for 24 hours. I think about it. I have to sleep on it. I don't want to make like a 5-second, like, oh my God, like that's wrong, blah, 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 whatever. I have to like, I separate myself. I think about it, but I take 24 hours to think about it. Cause when you wake up, you're a whole nother person and you're like, you know what? It actually wasn't that bad. Hey guys, this is how I think we should handle it. And you're more positive that way. And you don't have to put that negative energy out into the world. And I think the other thing I want to say on mental health is like, a lot of people, me included, I used to always correlate mental health with suicide. And it's like, oh, if you're not mentally stable, you're immediately suicidal, which is not true. Mental health is happiness. Mental health is anxiety. Mental health is laughing. Mental health is everything that your mind goes through to have emotions. And that's what like we're talking about when we talk about balance of mental health. Because you'd be kind of nuts if you were just laughing nonstop all the time, every day, all day. People would be like, what's wrong with that person, right? But like having a balance between happiness, having a balance between anxiety, having a balance between stress, having a balance between all these things is what keeps you mentally stable. You know what I mean?
Well, I think avoidance, so many people just avoid. And one of the reasons they avoid is just by staying very distracted. Like that's why actually the pandemic blew up a lot of stuff, actually blew up a lot of marriages, blew up a lot of relationships, because before we were so distracted, running out, going here, going there, going there, going to meetings, going to this, going to that. Like we were distracted to some of the imbalances in our relationships. Some of the feelings that were coming up, it was like, I don't have time to deal with that feeling, and then all of a sudden the pandemic and you're home and then you had
you're
to
like, oh, I do have time to actually deal with this.
And so it's really important to take time to unplug, to do a little bit of inner work, some reflection, and not to just try to conceal your feelings. Like I believe people get a little bit emotionally and mentally off balance because they don't have the courage to actually connect to the true feelings that they're feeling. And when you finally take that time to do that. And then you can move through it. You can process through it and have, those challenging conversations, because communication, first to communicate to yourself of what you're truly feeling and having clarity on that, then that allows you to go and have that conversation with someone else. And then also those conversations are what brings like a deeper level of intimacy.
Yep.
And so when you can have those challenging conversations with a loved one, and you can work through it, and that makes you stronger as a couple, because when you can have those and that deeper dive into self, into truth. I mean, we're actually going off on a whole other thing, but
no, it's all good.
That's all part of health and well-being and expansiveness, and like really getting in touch with your authentic self. And the truth is, for me, coming from a fitness background so young in my youth, having that discipline my entire life has allowed me to actually expand into making sure that I'm emotionally healthy, spiritually healthy, and mentally healthy.
I agree. And I think, if I want to bring it back to the conversation, like you're not going totally off track. Like even during the pandemic, like I have 4 sisters, and, I maybe didn't talk to them as much pre-pandemic. Why? Because I was running all around New York or LA or Miami or London or Dubai or wherever it was. And I'm like, I'm busy, I can't talk, I'm in a different time zone. This drastically helped me get back closer to my sisters. And I'm calling all of them again, and I'm seeing what's going on in their life. And I just visited my sister in Oregon, and it's so much better. And like, you start to reprioritize, like, what you're actually doing. Are you doing it? Are you doing this for others? Are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for your family? And like, family definitely comes first. And like, it's such like a sigh of relief to just like see my sisters and like talk to them and be like, dang, like I do miss this. Like these girls are super dope. And like, these girls are badass. And like, I miss having them in my life. And like, I think that was definitely one of the benefits of like this whole pandemic, being able to like take a deep breath. Cool. Okay. I caught up on everything. What's next? Oh, my fucking family is right here. I need to go talk to them. You know what I mean?
I love that. Oh my God, Dev, I love talking to you.
Yeah.
We didn't follow any of our questions on here.
I have it right here.
And it's all great, because I just knew that the organicness of, we're both so passionate, and I love hearing you. It's, you're generations younger than me, and I get so inspired that you, as such a young person, are just that the way you look at health and the way you look at well-being is so mature for your age. And I love that, because you've got this huge following that are following you, and you're adding so many layers. It isn't just about the fitness end, it's the whole person, it's the relationship, expansiveness, it's joy, it's all beautiful. So let's definitely get that. How do you say it? EMOM?
EMOM. EMOM. Yeah, every minute.
Let's definitely
I'll get that over.
Send those.
I would get the link over for. I'm going to send you that study on people that have to get up without using their hands. It's a real thing. That's why I like.
No, I know it's a real thing, because I'm doing that. I'm just so happy that they actually did a study on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you. And I can't wait to connect with you again.
Yeah, I'll see you soon in LA.
Yeah. Okay. Bye, everyone. We'll see you in 2 weeks.